Okay, once again, I would like to ask you, are you ready? Give me flowers. Why you are so obedient? I'm just kidding. So you see, there's a few empty seats next to me. So you know that I will be accompanied by a few friends. And then I also ask another 2 chairs over there. Yes, correct. Thank you, Brother Kui. And it will be 2 special guests over there. Yeah. And maybe let's start with the sound of the bell so we can breathe together. We can prepare our mind and our heart in a way so we are ready to have our talk show. We call it talk show today. So let's enjoy 3 sounds of the bell and let's breathe together, relax and smile. Dear Thai, dear brothers and sisters, dear friends, welcome to the talk show. And then the topic of the talk show today is Sangha building. Sangha is a community of practice. So we know that when we want to build a house, we need a lot of things. We need bricks, sand, rocks, what else? Cement, right? And then we need a person who have the ability, capacity, and skill to build. And then we want to talk about Sangha building, to build a Sangha. What is a Sangha? Sangha is a community of practice. So for a community of practice, we also need to build. We cannot just leave it there and then it suddenly grows. That's called grass, not Sangha. Sangha, grass, you don't need to take care of it. You don't need to water it. It will grow. But Sangha, for sure, we need to take care of it. We need to water it and then give it conditions so it can grow. Yeah. And in the Plum Village traditions, we emphasize on the community. So to practice by yourself, of course, is already very good. But of course, we also need friends on the path, friends that have a same aspiration for transformation, to be a better person, compassionate and understanding. This is the path we want to travel. That's why we introduce to you the 5 mindfulness trainings, right? I heard you have a wonderful presentations of 5 mindfulness training yesterday night. And for the Sangha to work, according to Plant Village, we need fourfold Sangha. We have monks and nuns. We have laymen and laywomen. Only 4, okay? No more. And that's what we call a Sangha body. Yeah, the Sangha body. In our tradition, our teachers love to tell us the story about the Buddha. Yeah, our teacher, the Buddha is a great Sangha builder. When he attained enlightenment, just within few months, he already can gather a lot of people following him and learn from him the way of understanding, the way of transformations. Few thousand. Plum Village, Thailand, we are quite good. Yeah, within a week, we can gather few hundreds of young people to come here. Yeah. We really hope that you will be the elements for the Sangha buildings elements. So it is quite boring if I talking by myself. That's why you see there's an empty seat over here. So I would like to invite a few friends to come up. They are somewhere there. Where? Please come up. Please offer flowers for them. Where's another one? Here. Let's go. This is a Sangha. And I have a few friends to help me, and then I also invited another 2 very special guests. Both of them are artists, very famous artists in Thai Plum Village only. Don't laugh so loud. You will scare them. I would like to invite Sister Okay, let me repeat once again. Sister Manjiu. And then another one is Sister Chang Han. Please come to number 1 and number 1, both of them. Artists. Please stand over here. Over here. Over there is okay. Please offer a flower for them once again. Yeah, thank you. So let me tell you what they're going to do. Yeah. So Sister Manju is far on my right. She already ordained for some times. Okay, they switch place. Okay. Look like artists? Yeah, of course. Yeah. You will never find them somewhere else. Yeah. So far on the right, let me introduce is Sister Manju. very lovely, sweet sister. She's ordained, I think, few years. I don't remember how long. And then another one next to Sister Manju is Sister Zhang Han. She just recently ordained. So we still open the registration if you want to follow their path. The registration 24/7, whole year, always open. I'm good at making advertisement. So I invited both of them to listen to the sharing and then use their skill and imagination to draw something on the whiteboard. Yeah. So from time to time you can enjoy. So I request them to pick up one word, two words, or maybe one sentence that they think is connected to the sharing about a Sangha building, and then they will just do a freestyle drawing. Okay? Great idea. Yeah. Without them, I cannot draw, man. Yeah. Are you ready? Sẵn sàng chưa? Okay, cảm ơn nha. Okay, over there, finish. Let me introduce you. Let me introduce you another artist. They are from different countries, and according to our information we received, they are Sangha builder. And then I would like to invite one by one to share very briefly about yourself. Okay? How about from that side? You can pick up any microphone you like. 5 minutes from now.
Dear Thai, dear beloved community, it's very strange to be on this side of the stage. Thank you for inviting me to share about myself and the sanghas I'm part of. My name is Aya. I have Japanese, Malaysian, and Thai roots. My mother is Thai. My mother is Japanese. I was thinking about my grandmother already. My mother is Japanese, and my father is half Malaysian, half Thai. So it feels moving to be back in Thailand after many, many years. I never met my grandmother, but she was from Bangkok, and she ran a little shop in Bangkok somewhere. I practice with the Singapore Sangha and the emerging Wake Up Malaysian Sangha. And I live in Johor Bahru, so it's sort of in between both Sanghas. And so we practice non-border Sanghas. So we're in and out of 2 Sanghas, 3, and then potentially there's an online one that's coming up, but still in the works. And I also hope to practice with Japanese Sanghas to connect more to my Japanese side. I grew up in China. I was born in Japan, in Yamaguchi, in the south of the mainland. And then I moved to China when I was 3. My dad's an engineer, my mom's a teacher, and they started a school in China. And what am I? I'm a practicing farmer and community builder. I made the shift a year ago, and my grandparents on my Japanese side have always grown rice. They come from a lineage of rice farmers. And I also felt very moved to start my journey and connecting back to the land. I have a few friends here that are kind of in a similar transition, who have spent time on the farm as well, Ken and Vivian. So it's been a year of learning a method of farming, forest farming, regenerative farming, bringing back the forest on degraded land, and at the same time growing a community, because we can't grow a forest back without a community. And I think a big part of stepping into this field has also been my spiritual practice. All of us contain the earth within us, and I felt that very deeply when I began practicing in Plum Village. I started practicing in New York City, of all places. So I grew up as a city kid, but with roots in the countryside, and kind of walking back in that direction, but carrying the city girl in me back to the country. So infusing culture and back to regenerating both within, but also the land. I think that covers the basis for now. Thank you.
I will choose who. How about you?
I was not prepared. Okay. Dear Thai, dear community, dear friends, yeah. I'm Hung Ru. I'm from Taiwan, and I live in Taipei. And I see Brother TK's translating now, so maybe I can switch to Mandarin. So to test his skills, so in the future I can come to Taiwan to lead retreats. Okay. So anyway, yeah. Sorry. I've been kind of not having a job for a while. I was teaching yoga before when the pandemic started, and before that I do all kinds of body-related work. Yeah, but during the pandemic, my hip pain got really serious, so I need to take a really long break, and so I kind of feel like I'm kind of in between for a couple of years, and so I actually had a lot of time to participate in the Taiwanese Sangha, which, I don't know, we've been kind of more active in the past couple of years, especially after the pandemic. And so, yeah, even though I kind of feel like, I'm not working, but my husband told me that volunteering work is also a kind of work. So I was like, yeah, then I guess I work a lot then. Yeah, and this time I'm here to Thai Plum Village the first time. It's also my first wake-up retreat because I'm 34 and I'm afraid that if I'm not coming this year, maybe next year I won't have a chance to come. And yeah, because my husband also teased me whenever I told him, I'm going to hang out with my Sangha friends, in Taiwan. And he will tell me like, oh, your elder friends, your elderly friends. I was like, yeah, they're quite old. That's true. So I kind of really want to come and learn what is it like to what is a wake-up retreat and, what is it to build a wake-up Sangha, because we don't really have a wake-up Sangha in Taiwan yet, so I kind of hope maybe in the near future, we can have a chance to start building. So maybe I should book a personal consultation for myself for like how to build a wake-up Sangha in Taiwan with some brothers and sisters. If Brother Papto can introduce me. So that's about it. Thank you for listening.
So you're afraid that you will expire soon? Don't worry, I will speak to the wake uppers, monastic, to extend another the age limit to 40, so you have a longer expire date. Don't get caught in this 35, 36. I'm 40 something, still wake uppers, man. I don't care this number. You know. Okay, how about left, right, left, right, left?
Dear respected Thai, dear brother and sister, dear family, my name is Ngọc and I'm 31 years old. I'm from Vietnam and currently I'm practicing mindfulness in the full moon Sangha in Ho Chi Minh City. When I was a little girl, I used to dream to work in an NGO. You know NGO, right? Non-government organization, because I have a very big dream to involve to the social activities, and I was really interested a lot, and I actually make very hard effort to get my first job, and I achieved my dreams when I was 25, and at that time, I didn't understand why I feel very empty. And then one of my best friend, she suddenly passed away, and then I feel very depressed. Then the Sangha saved me. I have been practicing in Sangha since in the end of 2018. In the very beginning, when one of my previous boss asked me to go to the Sangha, you know, Ho Chi Minh City is a very huge city, a super city, so there are a lot of Sangha there. So one of my previous boss took me to the one of the Sangha, and in the very first moment, I walk into the Sangha. It's a very humble place, you know. It's very small but cozy. In the very first moment I walk into that place, I feel home. That I like the very unique feeling I had ever been since I was born. Because you know, since I was born, since I was small until now, I'm a kind of very sociable person. I'm easygoing and really easy to connect to others, and I kind of very easy to connect to others, and I like to please others around me, including my parents, my siblings, and my teacher in school. And I used to think that true happiness, and that happiness was broken when I was 20. So I always like to please others in intangible way. So yeah, practice since the time when I practice with my Sangha have taught me a lot about aware of myself. Before, I always want to save the world. You can ask 100 people work in an NGO, they always say, I want to save the world. And me included. But Sangha have taught me, and Thầy taught me about how important to be aware of myself, and how important to aware of the present. Uh, um, I used to work in several several NGOs, several organizations, and currently I'm working in a psychology office in Ho Chi Minh City. This is the first time I sit here, so I feel quite a lot nervous. So please pardon me if I say something not right enough. Thank you.
Dear respected Thai, dear beloved community, my name is Jack. I come from the UK and practice with Wake Up London. So I'm quite far from home. This is my first time at Thai Plum Village. Retreats that I've been to before have been in Plum Village, France, or in the UK with my Sangha, or when brothers and sisters from France come over. But I'm super happy to be here. I really feel like I've come home, which is quite good. I don't have a job at the moment. I used to work for the government, for the UK government, in the humanitarian side of things. And I was inspired by Thai's work in the 60s during the war in Vietnam. And I guess, I wanted to save the world and save lots of people. But my job was mostly sending emails and sitting in meetings, which wasn't quite what I had in mind. And so I realized it wasn't bringing me much happiness. And so I made the big decision to quit and go traveling for a little bit. So that's why I'm here. Just another, white guy trying to find himself in Southeast Asia, I guess. I'm nothing if not a stereotype. I started my travels in Vietnam with the Plum Village delegation for Thai's memorial in Hue. And then I went to India and to Nepal as well, doing some Buddhist pilgrimage sites, going to Sarnath, Bodh Gaya, Kushinagar, and Lumbini, which was very nourishing. And so I feel like I can rest a little bit now, not going from place to place, and sort of ground myself a little bit with the Sangha here. I'm trying to think what else I can say about me. I said I practice with Wake Up London, which is a beautiful, beautiful Sangha that I hold very close to my heart. And I'm quite sad to be apart from them, but I'm hoping that, I'll be seeing them soon. I'm going back home in just over 2 weeks, so I'll be able to see all my friends soon. But I'm so nourished by so many faces of friends that I've not met before or have met so far. This is such a lovely, lovely little community. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you, Jack, and very lovely to have you here. And before we continue, we would like to invite everybody to enjoy one sound of the bell, to relax our body and smile. So the next will be very interesting. So I will just throw out questions and I will find victims to answer questions. And but we have a small talk just now, and let's see what will come up, because there's a question I already prepared, but also please prepare for my unprepared questions. It will suddenly come up. If I have. I think the first question I really want to know, this morning the brother talked about true love. But now I don't want to talk about true love, but I want to know your first love. Hey, first love to the Plum Village practice. I have not finished my sentence. No, I will not choose you. How about... okay, let's start from Jack. How you first fall in love with this Plum Village practice?
Thank you, brother. That's a loaded question. I first fell in love with the Plum Village practice as soon as I first attended my local Sangha, which sounds a bit cliche given we're here to talk about the wonders of Sangha, but it is true. I'd read a few of Ty's books before and enjoyed them, but they didn't massively connect with me until I found a Sangha and started practicing with Wake Up London. And I remember the moment. We have our afternoon of mindfulness every Saturday, and it's in two parts. And we do our sitting and walking and reading in the first half, and then in the second half we do Dharma sharing. And I'd been to a couple of other sort of Buddhist organizations, so I was used to sitting and used to hearing about Buddhist concepts. But when Dharma sharing began, I was like, whoa, this is new, this is different. And I just remember being so surprised at how open and how vulnerable people were in Dharma sharing. People were really opening their hearts with no judgment and no fear of judgment. And I just found that so beautiful. I had never been in a space where I felt I could do that, and I felt I could listen to the suffering and the joy of friends, and then also share my own suffering and joy. And I remember after we'd finished, I was sort of getting ready to go home, and it's tradition that we often go for tea after Sangha. And I was like getting my bag and putting my shoes on, just ready to go home. Sort of hadn't really talked to anyone, and someone just looked at me and went, "Are you coming for tea?" And I didn't have the heart to say no, so I followed them and had tea, and yeah, just completely fell in love with the community. It really woke something up within me that I didn't realize needed waking up, this sort of sense of being in a spiritual community, being in such a supportive environment where I could really be my authentic self. And it's really changed my life. I mean, I had short hair before, and now it's long, so... yeah, it's completely changed who I am as a person, and I know that I wouldn't be who I am today without my Sangha. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the support of my Sangha back home. Yeah, it was love at first sight, or love at first Dharma sharing, I guess.
Right. Well, very good. And how about you?
Thank you, brother. My first ever encounter with Plum Village and Thai was when the documentary Walk With Me was out. It was in 2017, I think. And somehow the theaters in Taiwan, like they play it, all over Taiwan. I feel like, just like, oh, it's just a Buddhism movie. And I've been practicing with different traditions before that. My first ever retreat was a Vipassana, a Goenka, like the 10-day silent retreat. And I really enjoy sitting, but I feel like I feel really calm when I'm doing a sitting meditation, but when I'm not sitting, I feel, not settled. So I remember when I was watching the documentary, I heard the Avalokiteshvara chant the first time in my life, and I just, tears. I saw that. I feel like probably a lot of you, when the first time you heard that chant, it was you don't know what it is, you know, the lyrics you don't understand, but the energy really just penetrates me. I thought in the documentary I will learn more about Thai, but no, I learned more about the community. And that's, I don't know, I feel like that really planted a very beautiful seed in me. And so in the end of that year, one day I was scrolling through my Facebook. I saw a Facebook ad and said, like the Plum Village, you know, Tinahan Plum Village community, they will have a day of mindfulness in Taipei. And I was just thinking to myself, well, you know, it's just a day. I don't need to go anywhere. I live in Taipei. And if they're a cult, that's okay, you know, just a day. I'm not losing too much. Yeah, so I went, and I think I was lucky because that time they used a very beautiful tea house. It's like a lot of beautiful antiques, and we had like a really wonderful vegetarian lunch, and was like super nice oolong tea because it's a tea house. And, you know, there was no like shiny Buddha, you know, I was not really into Buddhism at the time. So, yeah, and I went, and the sisters, they're all so gentle. So, yeah, at the time it was the brothers and sisters from Hong Kong Plum Village, which they usually tour to Taiwan once a year. Yeah, and so yeah, after that day of mindfulness, and they talk about, well, they have Sangha gatherings in Taipei, and, you know, and it just started like next week. So I just went to the Sangha gathering. At that time, we gather 2 to 3 times a month, and we used a space that's owned by another Buddhism tradition, but they're really supportive to Thai's teaching, so they let us gather there. And I noticed myself, like, I show up every time. Like, even the facilitators, they don't show up every time. I mean, I get it now because, you know, it's tiring. But, you know, as just someone just go and enjoy, I'll just like, it's hard to describe. It almost feels like, I don't know, I just felt really happy afterwards. And at first I didn't realize how happy I feel, but it just every time when it finished, like I would just call my husband and told him like, oh, I'm done, you know, I'm going home. And like he would just ask me like, you sound happy. I was like, really? Like I was not self-aware, but really I just continue going to go to the Sangha gathering and just get so nourished, yeah. And somehow I'm lucky enough to just keep practicing with the Sangha in Taipei and also, you know, all over Taiwan, since 2017 until now. So that's my story. Thank you.
Please offer a flower for her. Thank you very much for your very touching story. And I have another 2 friends, but I would like to ask you something else. Okay, the question goes like this. Amongst all the practices of Plum Village traditions, can you just mention one practice that you love the most, you practice almost every day? And then please let us share to all of us, if you're feeling so lazy to practice that your favorite practice, what will you do? And it's from you.
The first thing I feel in the morning is I am alive. And it started maybe a year ago, in a very difficult time, maybe a year and a half ago. But I came into a different circumstance, and I started waking up, and the first thing my body and my consciousness, everything would just remind me I am alive. And I love the Gatha, Waking up this morning, 24 brand new hours are ahead of me. I vow to live each moment fully and to look at all beings with eyes of compassion. So I think this really sets the day. And usually I'm doing this with eyes closed, still tucked in bed, but that's the first thought that comes. To see every moment as a gift. And somehow the day changes when that aspiration or that kata arises in me. And when I feel lazy, I have learned this practice recently, which is to invite somebody in the Sangha body in me to take over. So I think it was one of the Dharma teachers that traveled to Singapore to give a talk. And she shared that when she's going through difficulty, or when she feels lazy or unproductive, or when she's in a situation that's new, or when I'm in a situation that's new, I will recall someone that can walk with me, can do it with me. So sometimes it's, Thai, please take over. Or, Mom, please hold my hand. Or, I don't know, I'll think of a friend very, very far away. Jackie, please take over. And suddenly, the action and the feeling is different because I'm not doing it alone anymore. So there are times where there are no facilitators for a particular wake-up session. We practice on Monday nights in Singapore, and work gets in the way, commuting. The wake-up chat is completely silent. No one has planned anything, and the session is 30 minutes away. And I think we all collectively know, okay, it's my turn. So if it's a busy time for me, I will also evoke maybe a monastic brother or sister that has moved me recently and ask them to take over within me. And somehow that creates the conditions for a bit more ease.
One of my favorite practice is walking meditation. Walking meditation. Walking meditation. Because I like walking, just very simple. And also normally I'm a very quite active person, so it's quite hard for me to just sit. For the sitting meditation is quite hard for me. And when I'm lazy, I also practice walking meditation because I'm living in a very beautiful part in Ho Chi Minh City, so I often have a walk there. I like walking meditation because actually in the very beginning when I first know about Plum Village and mindfulness, I didn't know what mindfulness is. I came here for the first time in 2019, and actually I felt very joyful, and I felt very admired about the path of Thai because I really interested in social justice. That's all. And I actually I didn't understand what mindfulness is. I just felt very joyful and I involved a lot of activities, but still didn't understand. And when I came back to Ho Chi Minh City, just as I told you that I often participated in Sangha activity just because the Sangha activity have a humble place and I feel very secure when I walk into there, not because I understand what mindfulness is. I practiced with the Sangha very diligent for 2 years and I still didn't understand what mindfulness is at that time. Again, I just practiced because I met some people in my local Sangha and I felt they very friendly, very open and make me feel very secure. And I don't have to wear the mask when I connect to them because I'm a kind of social boy and I like to please others, so I often wear a mask when I connect to others, when I work, or when I connect to the social activities. But when I went to the Sangha, I didn't have to wear any mask and feel very secure, and that's all. And still don't understand what mindfulness is until in 2020, my family had a very difficult challenge, and all the members in my family was crazy, including me. And my family is not a Buddhist. No one knows about the Buddha. So my family is kind of business and money is the king. So only me know about the Plum Village and the practice before. And at that moment, I realized that the money cannot save my family at this moment, cannot save me, cannot save my sibling and parent. Only practice save me. So at that time, I still didn't understand what mindfulness is, but I practiced. Yeah, I started to practice very seriously what I learned from the Sangha. I work because at that situation is really difficult, so I didn't be able to sit in my home at that time for the sitting meditation, so I have to walk around. And I walk every day, every afternoon. I walk for 10 kilometers, kind of, or similar, yeah. So I step by step, just like that. Yeah, step by step. And I allow me, before the journey, I allow me be freedom in my step. Please don't think about the situation. Please don't think about the challenge. Just step. So I step. Yeah. So I repeat my practice for 2 weeks. Yeah, very seriously. And I feel calm. Yeah, that made me feel very comfortable. And still didn't understand what mindfulness is. until one afternoon, that sunshine everywhere and my garden, and I walk from inside my house to the yard, and I feel, oh, today is so beautiful, huh? Oh, the flower in the garden is so beautiful, and I feel oh, so weird, huh? Because my family is really chaotic now. So why can I dare to be happy like that? So, can you understand, right? So, often I think that if the environment around me chaotic, is like messy, I have to be messy like that. No, I don't allow me to be happy in that moment. And actually, I don't have capacity to be happy at that moment if I don't have the practice. So it's very naturally, I feel very, the flowers so beautiful, huh? So lovely. And it's really naturally, right? So I didn't understand why. And I feel like, why my family, the member in my family was crazy. Why? I'm so happy, huh? I think the practice saved me. And from that moment, I believe I understood what mindfulness is, but in just a little bit. But it works. It really works. So from that moment, I kept repeating my practice every day, walking meditation, and it was quite easy to me. But I practiced diligently and very serious, because that's the only thing can save me at that moment. So yeah, so and that practice. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, so that's my story. Thank you.
Let us listen to one sound of the bell. Do you check? Do you know why in Plum Village, where while you're walking from one place to other place, we have a lot of what I call it, little stones, pebbles. Do you notice every time when you walk, there's always like a noise? Actually, it can be a mindfulness sound. Yeah. But if you walk so fast, and then with the mobile phone in front of you, I don't think you can hear the sound of the pebbles. Yeah. So tonight, when you walk back to your room, you can try. Yeah. But now, after I talk to just a few friends, I would like to just to look at this area, what happened here. Wow, there's a US dollar here. Or maybe by meditating you very you got money, huh? Welcome, hi. I guess this is the sun, huh? With the clouds. Ah, moon. Sangha, full moon Sangha. The only full moon is in Vietnam. Wow. I believe this one is a practice of total relaxation. But too bad it's accompanied by this very bright sun. So it's so hot. I try to interpret this picture. I don't know what is this. What is this? She make a call to, oh, my honey, my husband, right? Oh, I'm in the practice, Sangha practice. This is look like a walking meditation. Oh, drink tea. Little bunny here. Wonderful. Offer flowers. We will see more. Yeah. Please continue. Okay, I will put more questions to few friends about here. Just now we just talk about more about personal practice, but now let's move a little bit further about the Sangha, the community you are in. Okay, now I want to exercise your memory. Please think of one memory, the best memory, the wonderful memory in the practice when you practice together with the Sangha. Like something move you, something like it's difficult for you to forget. Are you ready? No. Are you ready? Okay, please.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, the memory I've got brought such a smile to my face, so I feel I have to share it. We have a tradition in our Sangha that every New Year we go on retreat. So we have a 4-day retreat over the New Year period, which is so nourishing to be amongst friends when the year is changing, because the most popular way to celebrate New Year in the UK is to go to a bar and drink and get really drunk, and then you don't realize it's the new year, and then you wake up and you're tired and sleepy and feel sick. We don't do that. We have fun. We sing, we sit, we walk. And on New Year's Eve last year, we had a beautiful ceremony in the style of Plum Village. And then afterwards, we went out into nature, and we had this great big fire pit. There's all these logs, and we lit a fire. We were all sat around this fire, singing and having so much fun and joy. And then there was the invitation to offer things to the fire, for things we wanted to let go from the last year. And I wrote a personal note. I won't go into detail. And I threw it into the fire, and was reflecting on the year and started crying. And a couple of minutes later, I was still crying. I'm quite a crier now that I've started practicing with Plum Village. I cry a lot more. But as I was sitting there crying, I just felt arms like wrapping around me from behind. And it was friends from the Sangha just holding me as I cried. And it was so, so beautiful, so, so touching. Because, it had been a difficult year. And quite a difficult retreat as well. I was very busy on the retreat. So having support and feeling the Sangha behind me, literally behind me, was really, really nourishing. And before I left to go on my travels, I was told by a friend, if ever you're feeling lonely or, you're feeling a little homesick, just imagine all of our hands, behind you, just, pushing you forward. So that one memory really, really stuck out to me. So thank you for letting me share it, brother.
Thank you very much. It must be very wonderful. In France, also usually in the year end, we also organize events like a retreat, and then we invite many people comes and to practice together. Rather than usually quite a lot of. I'm sorry, Westerner, they love at the end of the year, they having fun, drink or do. So rather than they are out there, we invite them to come to the monastery. Yeah. No meat, no wine, no dance, but we have songs. And then we practice mindfulness. So Plum Village kind of offer a new ways, new path to people. Yeah. Okay, let me ask my left side. Either one of you want to share your happy moment in the Sangha? Either you or you? Okay. Huh? 1, 2, 3. You choose. You choose I share or you share.
I invite you.
Okay.
Okay. One of the the happiest memory I have with Sangha was, because I remember, because during the pandemic, we're not able to see each other in person, and we mostly do it online. And I feel like since last year, 2023, we started to have more retreats held in Taiwan, but we noticed that we are not really getting alone, maybe because we don't, we do practice online, but maybe we don't have so much time just to hang out. So kind of feel like the communication in between the Sangha is a bit, have definitely had more conflicts. And I remember we asked the brothers and sisters for their suggestions. And there's one moment we feel like we need beginning anew, between certain members. But because, in the past there was a beginning anew that was supported by the sister. And after that, the two person just, never talked to each other. And like one person just left the Sangha. So we kind of feel like we can only use this practice in this skillful way, like even though we feel like we need it, but we shouldn't just do it. And so, I feel like we're pretty lucky to be supported by the brothers and sisters. And one thing I really like about Plum Village is that we talk about brotherhood and sisterhood. This kind of relationship is very important. Like we're together, yes, because we like to practice together. We want to transform ourselves and transform others. We have a faith, in the three jewels, and a faith in human being. We love nature. We have so much in common, and so I feel like so we started to have more trips in different cities. Like maybe because we have Sangha members living all over Taiwan, and like we all went to the east coast of Taiwan, which is like a really pretty place, and we just went there, just for fun. And the Sangha friends in the East Coast, they're all artists, so they're all really creative. Like they make super delicious meals for us. They took us, they drove us around, and I feel like just we kind of just hang out together and just really enjoying being there for each other. And I feel like even though that's not like technically a Sangha gathering, but I feel like that really helps a lot with for us to keep going on this path together. And so I feel like that is it's not like technically a practice together, but I feel like that's definitely one of the most happiest moments I have with my Sangha member. Thank you.
Wow, I'm just sitting here, listen to the sharing, I really starting to know what happens at the different corners of the world during the having fun or having difficulties in the Sangha buildings. But this next question, I would like everybody to answer, okay? This is quite tough question, okay? All of you here, maybe in the Sangha for few years, maybe few months, few years. And the first thing I would like to know, what is your main reason you choose to stay in the Sangha? Because what? To my personal experience, when we have a Sangha gathering or we are building a Sangha, even the monastic Sangha is also very similar. There's a people coming, there's a people going. And then sometimes in the company, they call it turnover. Right? Turnover. It means like you move to a different Sangha, you move to a new company, you have to meet a new person, or you choose to stay in the old company or the old Sangha, and then there's a people who you are very close with long time ago, and then suddenly they just disappear without saying anything. Yeah. And it might be something happened that you don't really know what happened there. So how you embrace the feelings of maybe meeting with new friends and losing friends. And then, even until now, I believe you still choose to stay in the Sangha. Don't cry before you start to answer this question. So somebody want to volunteer to start first? But don't worry, all of you have your turns. Left, right? Okay, you.
So the question is why I've stayed in the Sangha still. I think Sanghas are not static. Sanghas are a good mark of for me, a good mark of a Sangha is a constantly evolving Sangha. And I think that's why I like Wake Up, because Wake Up embodies the spirit of change a lot. In Singapore, we have two Sanghas, but of course interconnected. We have our big Sangha, Joyful Garden, and then we have Wake Up. And Wake Up is always like trying to find a creative way of practicing. Should we meet in the park? Should we, if somebody wants to offer dramatic readings, songwriting, mindful journaling, and it's dynamic in that way. But beyond, I guess, change in that superficial sense of like, what should we do together? Sangha is family. And when I see Sangha in that way, I feel encouraged to stay, and I feel the spirit of spiritual family. I won't forget the night that for a while, Sangha was refuge. It still is. But there was a period of time where I was very afraid to go home to where I lived. And our practices would happen in the evening. And so I would stay back and stay back and stay back until the senior practitioners would come over and say, "Why aren't you going home?" And I remember confiding. I remember confiding in a sister at our Sangha house about my fears, about what was happening, about some difficulty at home, and was able to overcome and go home. It was not easy, but I received strength from the Sangha to return to my blood family and to carry the Sangha with me. I think a lot of people nowadays grapple with a lot of loneliness. And we share this challenge in our Sangha, especially as people living in cities. Loneliness is a really big issue. And to be among people that are aware, and to be among people that want to nourish joy and imagine a different way of living, not only imagine but embody with with many, many paths. I always find it so interesting how people came to the Sangha, like their journey. And everyone's story is so interesting and magical. And I know that this convergence, this combination of people will never come again. So I think knowing that, I feel, and it's constantly shifting also. I think the other question was about change, like people coming and going. And I think that's one of the maybe challenges with the Wake Up Sanghas I've experienced, is after a retreat, everyone's like, woohoo, you know, like we're going to start a Sangha, everybody's going to connect and stay in touch. And then after a few weeks of like good morning messages, it kind of fades out. And I think a question that I would love to contemplate together is how to keep the energy going. Because when we're out there, like one drop in the ocean, but traveling alone in the city or, you know, back after a retreat, it is really difficult to carry the practice, the Sangha. So I do feel sometimes disappointed when no one shows up to wake up practice 1 week. I don't know, somehow the conditions. But I was thinking, I'm connecting a lot of Sangha building to reforestation these days. And 25% of a forest is always falling down. And it's dynamic. The forest is alive, like a Sangha is alive. It's a macroorganism. And sometimes a thunderstorm hits, or a hurricane, or lightning, and a chunk of the Sangha is gone, or the forest is gone. But this is not a bad thing. I think it's also a sign of renewal. This is what allows a forest to continue. This is what allows new trees to come up and take the sun. So I think sometimes a little bit of that kind of letting go is also beneficial. It's also healthy to say, you know, do we want to keep going? Because it ignites conversation. Often when somebody asks, do we want to keep going? The feeling of why we want to stay grows stronger. So I like to ask that to myself also. Like, why am I going? Be very honest. And then if I don't want to go, then I won't. Thank you.
Why do I stay in my Sangha? That's an interesting question to ask someone who's over 6,000 miles away from his Sangha. But I will go back, so I guess, yeah, that's it. I really I know there's a saying in our tradition that the next Buddha will be the Sangha. And I always reflect on that when I'm amongst my Sangha, like, yeah, this is the future. I shared earlier that I really recognized when I first joined my Sangha that this is what I'd been missing in my life. And yeah, I can sort of really sympathize about sort of loneliness in cities. London, it's a big city and it's quite lonely in some ways. People move there for a job, they stay there for a couple of years and then they leave. And people often move to places where their friends already are. So it can be very hard to meet new people in London sometimes. And when I first moved to London, although I was surrounded by sort of some friends, and I still really struggled with loneliness. But I noticed that the more I practiced with my Sangha, the more I turned up every Saturday afternoon for our afternoon of mindfulness, those feelings got a little less intense. And I felt like I belonged, and I think that's what I wanted. That's why I was feeling lonely, because I didn't feel as if I belonged anywhere. For me, I feel so supported by my Sangha in every aspect of my life. I'd like to share a quick story that last year I went through quite a bad breakup. It's a wake-up retreat. We've got to talk about breakups, right? And I remember going to wake up. It was pretty much like in the middle of the breakup. And I was so tired. I didn't want to go because I was like, I just want to rest. Like, I don't think I want to be around anyone right now. But there was a part of me that was like, no. You need to be around Sangha. You need to be around community. You need to be around those who you love and who love you. And I did. And I went. And I was tired. I was sleepy. I was emotional. But I just felt like I could be tired and sleepy and emotional and upset. But I was surrounded by people that were okay with that and would accept me and were there to support me. And no matter, in what state I am, no matter what my weather is, I can always show up at Sangha, authentically being myself, not having to worry about, what do these people think of me? Should I do this? Should I do that? I can just do whatever, and I'll be accepted. And that's really, really nice to have. On the question on, what do you do when people come and go? It's a bit of a question that doesn't quite work for my Sangha. Brother, you said that you might raise the wake-up age to 40. I got a couple of friends that would be very happy about that in our Sangha. They've been practicing with us for many years and are still a little bit reluctant to leave and age out, which is beautiful. But again, London is a city where people move there, they work for a bit, and then they're like, God, this is intense, I'm leaving. But it offers this opportunity for renewal. You get new people stepping up who have different perspectives and different backgrounds who suddenly want to facilitate. And you get this new energy going, this new youthful energy that can really help carry the Sangha along if there are periods of sort of downturns and inactivity. Sometimes all it takes is a couple of people who are really keen and really into the practice and really want to share to step up and be given that opportunity. So it can be healthy to have people who may have been practicing for many years leave. It's very sad, but I guess it's also a reflection of impermanence, right? And nothing's going to stay the same forever. And the same is true of Sangha. It has to change. It's in the nature to change. And there's something quite beautiful about that. I've had friends who, I knew very well a couple of years ago, and then they left, and I've never spoken to them since. But I know that they're hopefully doing well, and that they could come back to the Sangha at any time, and it would be as if nothing had ever changed. Thank you.
Wow, very touching story. Thank you very much. Oh, by the way, you can choose which
I'm still staying with Sangha because of me. I have a very strong motivation because of me, right? I used to tell you about my story. So I used to experience that money, fame, cannot save my emptiness inside. I have a hole inside, and money and social status and the recognition from others didn't be able to save me from the emptiness. And also, I used to dating a lot because I want to fulfill my emptiness inside. I was very struggle to find many ways to fulfill, but those ways didn't work. And I went to Sangha and practice, and for a few years, and it saved me a lot from the loneliness, and I feel quite good inside now, not really empty like I used to be before, 5 years ago. I still stay because of the strong motivation because of me. Yeah. And how I deal with the people come and go. Actually, as she said, that Sangha is like an organism, right? So and chant happens a lot. And when I have been practicing with Sangha so far to 5 years, and many friends who used to practice with me in the very first time quit, and nowadays there are not a lot of old friends who used to meet me in the beginning. Actually, I feel not really. I feel quite easy to deal with that, because the motivation to stay is me, right? So I don't live here because of others. I choose to stay here because of me. So I will live here because of me, not because of others. So regardless of people just come and go, so I don't really care. But because of the Sangha, my Sangha, the host of my Sangha, they set up a very solid foundation for my Sangha, and very solid dynamic for everyone. So I think that's the most important to me. I don't know what important to others, but the most important to me is the solid energy, and the secure energy, and the stable dynamic whenever I go to Sangha, and that make me feel very stable, very secure, very connected, and that's enough. And people just come and go, oh, it's okay, because I don't really care. But I still, but because I just want to share about the spirit of Vietnamese people in the style of Vietnam. Vietnamese people in the style of Vietnam, they are really practical. Yeah, so they don't really care to the religious theory or mindfulness of Buddha if you cannot apply that to the daily life. So the only one thing I can do is to keep my practice diligent. I go to the Sangha quickly, and almost never don't go there. And the second thing, I share with others, including the new young people like me, about my practice and how to apply them to the daily life, and that's all I can do for my Sangha until now. Thank you.
I think this is a really good question, because, sometimes when I woke up in the morning and turn on my phone and see hundreds of messages in the Sangha chat group, I'm just like, especially messages who were popped up, after 10 p.m. are usually not quite skillful. So sometimes, once in a while, I ask myself, why am I still here? But I feel like I have the faith for Three Jewels. I have the faith for Buddha and Dharma. But sometimes I don't have so much faith for the Sangha, to be honest. That's true. And I kind of feel like it's the Sangha choose me, not I choose the Sangha. It just happens that, the conditions were there, so I'm still here, and I somehow still get along with the people in my Sangha, so I'm really happy to practice with them, and that's all. I feel like I didn't do too much in order to, fight over it, in order to still be in the Sangha. But I feel like one thing I learned about not losing faith in the Sangha was that there was a period of time that I kind of felt really tired about the conflicts, because especially in the Plum Village tradition, we seek for a consensus, which means like it's not like, 5 people, if 3 people agree on doing this thing, but 2 people disagree, then, we'll do what the 3 people want to do. Plum Village way is more like we kind of need to all express why we think this is better for the Sangha, and gradually came to a conclusion. And so I feel like that process is quite difficult, and that's also why I apply for the OI training organized by the Singapore Sangha during 2022 and 2023. And I wanted to learn from what is the secret, of Sangha building, especially during the pandemic. I practiced online with the Singapore Sangha sometime, and I see, some of the core members, they're all like, I don't know, so peaceful, so perfect. I don't know. I was just like, whoa, like, I wonder what's the secret. One brother, I don't know if I can say his name, but it really taught me a lot. So one brother from Singapore Sangha, he told us during the training, he's like, well, Sangha is like a basket of cooked potatoes, and what you do is just you shake the bucket, and so the potatoes, they'll rub on each other, so the skin will eventually peel off. It's kind of like we all have our habit energy, and kind of, after a lot of conversation, that we'll kind of get more smooth, we'll get more skillful, and then it's everybody's, more kind of together, I guess. And then new members joining, and then and then we're just. So I feel like in the Sangha, just like you just keep shaking the basket, and we're just constantly having different opinions, different ideas of what should we do, where should we go, and so I don't know. I feel like after that, I realized that sometimes when I see other Sanghas, they look really harmonious. I can see that now. I have this ability to see that, it's because they already been through the process, or they're still in the process, but I just didn't see. So I kind of just stopped having this fantasize of, what a harmonious Sangha should be. And also the name I received from my 14 mindfulness training is True Path of Harmonious Spring. So I feel like, like how to really understand what is the harmony, of the Sangha. Like, how do I stay harmonious within myself and with others? I feel like that is really like a life lesson for me. So part of the reason I'm still in a Sangha is to quite understand, I feel like Sangha is a really good environment because everybody's so loving, everybody's so have such a good motivation. We all want to bring something good to the world, but maybe sometimes, we're not enlightened Buddha. We all have that Buddha nature within, but maybe sometimes we're not so skillful. So I feel like it's a really a deep teaching, a deep lesson for me to really see the Buddha nature in everyone, and really learn to water each other, the seed within us, and to really be together, to be happy together. And so for people who comes and goes in the Sangha. I feel like in the past, I kind of take it more personal. I feel like, is it because they don't like me, especially if I facilitated that time? Or is it because, maybe they don't like us, the Sangha, or they don't like the practice? I feel like in the past I have a lot of those questions. But right now I kind of feel like, just as at the beginning I talk about, I feel like it's just the conditions, maybe they have no negative feelings upon everything, but maybe, just the conditions in their lives change, so they're not available to come practice anymore, maybe practicing is not the most important thing in their life, or, they have other more important things to do, or they found another way to apply the practice in their life, in their work, and they have their own community in order to make it happen. And it doesn't have to be that they have to be in our Sangha to be, in the Sangha, as a Sangha. I feel like practicing the way could manifest in all different forms. So yeah, I feel like now I feel like once in a while, like we will definitely reach out to the friends, maybe kindly ask them like, oh, hey, like you've been coming for a while, but you're not showing up. Is everything okay? Try to really use like the loving kindness, the compassionate, loving speech, and deep listening, which is the fourth mindfulness training, I think. Really use the mindfulness trainings to like really understand the people and see if we can help them, instead of just judging them, thinking like, oh, maybe they're just not good enough, or maybe we're not good enough. So I feel like that is a lesson I really learned from the Sangha and from the friends who either they're still coming or they're not showing up anymore. Thank you.
Please offer flowers for everybody. And also offer flowers for our two young artists. Wow, I can see there's a little Buddha there. But our teacher say one Buddha is not enough. Can I make a request? You put a hashtag Thai Plum Village. So when you take a picture, you better tag that. That's potatoes there. Shaking the potatoes. Okay, let me give them a support. I love this. Remember this. THIAIPLMU. Oh, that's enough. Oh, wait. Village. Wow, that's wonderful. Okay, it looks so wonderful. And you see, two heads walk together and four hands have to do the things and the ear have to listen to their sharing. It's not an easy job, but I really satisfied, and this is only happened once, no second time. Do you agree? Do you like it? Like, share, comment, and follow. Hết chưa rồi? Sao? Đẹp không? Beautiful? So, yeah. Okay, you can enjoy it later. Yeah. So I just want to close the sessions because the time is over. So once again, thank you our two young artists. Very wonderful. Wonderful mind, wonderful hands, and wonderful ears to listen and to draw something like that. And then also thank you for our special guest, Sangha builder, and I really hope their sharing somehow will inspire you, even just one sentence, and then bring back those inspirations or any inspiration you receive from the practice over here to bring home and to continue. And then, of course, once again, we never have gate. We never close our door, our gate. So you are always welcome to come here, but please register first. You cannot just suddenly show up. I'm just kidding. Okay, so after this, we will listen to the bell to end the session, and after that, the organizing team will make some announcements. Sao chưa? They still want to draw. Okay, let them continue to do it, and then we can listen to 3 sounds of the bell.